It has been 3 weeks, nearly 3 weeks, since Michigan football spring game, the end of spring practice. And we told you a lot of things that we were looking for before spring practice. We really haven't dove into what we learned from sources, what we saw in the field, people at the game, and then, of course, watching the game ourselves, and just an overall vibe of what's going on within the program. Jack, we've got a new pope. They put the white smoke out. I'm wearing a white T-shirt to honor the new pope, and you know, it's a big day. America's first pope. He's from Big Ten country, Chicago, so big day for the Big Ten, I think, too, to get one of their own in the big chair at the Vatican. My number one takeaway for this 2025 team coming out of spring practice, it seems to me that is going to be Bryce or bust. All eggs are certainly going into the basket. We told you before spring practice that the expectations of this coaching staff seem to be that Bryce Underwood could and potentially would, although maybe not publicly, win this job. And from what we saw from Jadyn Davis, injuries elsewhere, could that have happened? We'll dive more into the quarterback battle. I did want to ask you guys to follow me now. Jack, the Pope went from like 5,000 Twitter subscribed followers to 55,000 in an hour, and that was like 3 hours ago. It might be up to like 250,000 right now. So we may not do those kind of numbers, but let's see if we can get 10 of you guys to follow me on Twitter. Now, if you, I'll follow back the next 10 people who follow me for the first time. You don't have to unfollow and refollow if you don't want to. If you've already followed me in the past, want a follow back, just go retweet the pinned tweet on my profile, which will be this video. So show some love to this video. Retweet me if you already follow me. If you don't already follow me, feel free to retweet, but also just hit me the follow. I'll follow back 10 of you here on Thursday before we get into Friday's video. It's at James Yoder. I've got 17,088 followers right now. Is that what are we at? So please give me a follow. So Bryce or bust. He didn't win the job going away, and there were some good throws in the spring game. There was that trick play that looked pretty good. There were some decent throws around midfield, a couple good ones in the red zone. Also a couple questionable throws from him. But from what I saw of Jadyn Davis, it was clear that Bryce Underwood was the better player. Now, Underwood might be one of the more qualified true freshmen in the history of college football to potentially start day one, right? He was a 4-year starter for one of the biggest programs in the Midwest, you know, and I guess one of the most successful programs, they're not biggest programs in the state of Michigan at least. Won a state title as a true freshman, 4-year starter, then enrolled early in Michigan, went through the bowl practices, went through all of spring practice, and because of injuries to Mikey Keene, right? And, of course, to Davis Warren, Mikey Keene being the transfer from Fresno State, Davis Warren being the starter for a little more than half of the games last year, started the opener, got benched, you know, kind of came back after they ran through the entire quarterback cycle. Underwood probably is the most established quarterback in history of college football to come in as a true freshman with as many reps as he got going to the state championship game, state semifinals, or winning a state championship all 4 years. Bowl practices, which didn't happen, you know, more than 10 years ago, spring practice, and getting most, if not all, of the number one reps in spring practice with those injuries. It seems to me Bryce Underwood is going to get the starting job from day one against Central Michigan into that Oklahoma game on September 7th. I'll be there. Jack might be there as well. He's got a lady in his life, Jack, he's it's love season. He might be going to a Michigan-Oklahoma game. And, Jack, I'll tell you this. If I catch you rooting for the wrong team, it could be over. You got something to say?
No, I mean, I've made it abundantly clear to my girlfriend. If we go, I'm wearing Michigan gear. She can wear whatever she wants. Okay. But I'm wearing Michigan gear.
I thought I was going to catch you slipping, Jack. I was going to have spies. If we didn't go together, I was going to be watching for you. I was going to keep an eye out for you. Jack is staying true to the cause. Let's talk about some Jadyn Davis here. I don't know what to tell you. Like his delivery looked a little bit better than the limited clips we saw from warm-ups and from, you know, things like that last year, where it really looked weird, where he kind of like had a hitch, where he like almost like cocked the ball back, went to throw, and then like it looked like, if you guys remember, his throwing motion last year. This went viral 10 years ago. Charles Barkley trying to hit a golf club. You ever see this, Jack? He'll like go back like this and come and swing, and then like stop in the middle of the swing and go like that. That's how Davis's throw looked. It was like that. Looked a little bit better. He did that busting with the boy things. He was very accurate, but he still had that hitch in his throw. And his stats in the spring game, which were kind of awful, I am surprised based on the fact that we didn't see him play at all in 2024 except for one handoff in the Northwestern game, I think it was. And then with Michigan's worst quarterback situation, looking back probably in the history of the program, he couldn't get more than a single snap. And then really didn't look like he was Big Ten, let alone Michigan, let alone a national championship level quarterback at a school like Michigan that is a year and 4 months removed from actually to the day. It's May 8th, Jack. It's 16 months since the national title game. So if you're a J8 or toss the J8 in the comment, but he'll never be a starting quarterback in Michigan. I am surprised that he didn't transfer, but maybe he will transfer after this fall. Maybe he's going to give it one more year. He's not really rushed to transfer. He hasn't burned a year of eligibility yet, so he could go play this entire season at Michigan, maybe transfer after that, but I cannot see him ever being a starting quarterback at Michigan. Knowing what we know now, the expectation of Bryce Underwood being starting quarterback from day one, I'm going to put the number, I'm going to keep increasing it, right? The likelihood of him being starting quarterback increases the number we put as the over-under, so you might get hit with a YouTube ad break here, so while this ad potentially plays, go down and just comment over or under combined touchdowns for Bryce Underwood, rushing and receiving. Well, thank you so much for seeing through the ad break, answering that question, over or under. I'm going to go over. I got to go over at this point, right? I think we'll have 7 rushing touchdowns, so that means he only needs to get 15, 16 passing touchdowns to hit that 22 mark, which is kind of not that big of a number in today's age of college football. Upgrade at running back is the number 2 things I had. Look back to last season, Kalel Mullings had to fight for a lot of yards, and the heart of him in that USC game, winning that game for Michigan, in the Ohio State game, potentially single-handedly beating Ohio State down the stretch, obviously, addition to the defensive line playing all that, but breaking off that run to get Michigan, Dominic Zavada in field goal range to go up 13-10 with a couple minutes left. Donovan Edwards just didn't have the season last year that we thought, and I wish him well. Didn't get drafted, ended up with the Jets. Hopefully he can make a roster, but it's unlikely he makes a roster if he didn't get drafted. But we'll see. Maybe he can, impress and improve and have a spot for him in the NFL, if not elsewhere in football. Maybe have a shot again in the future. But from the quarterback, Jordan Marshall, who we saw 23 carries, 100 yards against Alabama, and then Justice Haynes, who was kind of the starter, the 1B, and then kind of was the backup for Alabama, was a 2023 5-star top 30 player in college football. Maybe it didn't work out for Alabama, but he turned heads in the spring, had a great work ethic, got along with Marshall very well. I'm excited what Marshall gets, right? He was the MVP of the bowl game with the 100-yard performance against an Alabama team. Remember, Michigan, no Mason Graham, no Kenneth Grant, no Colston Loveland, no Donovan Edwards, right? Donovan Edwards didn't play either. No Kalel Mullings. And no, who am I missing here? Will Johnson, Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham. Okay, so Michigan's down 6-7 players. Alabama, full strength. Michigan got the win, and Jordan Marshall was your MVP. So I think the combination of those 2 top 100 backs, high 4-star, Mr. Football in the state of Ohio, and Marshall coming to his sophomore year, Haynes his 3rd year in college, 5-star out of Alabama. I am predicting an upgrade at the running back position for this 2025 Michigan team compared to what we had with Edwards and Kalel Mullings last season. How about the defensive line? Is it possible? Is it conceivable that a college football team can lose 2 top 15 picks in the NFL draft off a defensive line and be as good, maybe better than they were last year? That's what we're going to talk about next. But I got to tell you guys a little personal story here. Wife was out of town. We were in Costa Rica for a wedding last week. Came home, no groceries in the house. She's got a day turnaround, go there. I planned ahead. I got with Factor Meals, the sponsor of the Michigan Football Report. Make this your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. Eating well has never been this easy. You just heat up and enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want. Had disaster at the house yesterday. Jack showed up, nanny, handing off the kids. Daughter was crying. Son clogged the toilet. I'm not sure if that's allowed to be told on this thing, but I'm trying to tell you the ease and a factor. It came time for me to eat the meal. I just popped it in the microwave. 2 minutes. I had a gourmet meal ready for myself. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick from gourmet meals that fit your goals. Choose some Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. They've also got satisfying breakfast, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, guilt-free snacks, and desserts. Factor Meals pack in the flavor with none of the fuss. Get started. FactorMeals.com/MichiganChat50off and use code MichiganChat50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. The link is down in the comments and the description of today's Michigan Football Report. Code MichiganChat50off at factormeals.com/MichiganChat50off. I saw a tweet today, Jack. I was going to pull it up. I did. I saw a tweet. Pull me on screen here. I'll talk about this before we go to the defensive line. It was from a account called, I'm not going to name the account. It's actually offensive, but it said, "The way men eat when they're single is nothing short of dehumanizing." I'm like, that should be a sponsored tweet for Factor Meals, right? Because I was a single guy, didn't have a wife or anybody cooking for me at home. Factor, because it is dehumanizing. I remember when I was 25, 28 years old, Jack, living by myself, I would eat just like an orange and chicken breast off the foreman. That was my entire meal for like 2 years straight. That's all the food I ever ate because that's all I knew how to cook, really. Michigan defensive line depth chart, a little as an aside. So I'm still sticking with these same 4 guys as the starters: Derek Moore, Rayshon Benny, Trey Williams, TJ Guy. I do think there are 5 players: Benny, Williams, Damon Payne Jr., Eno Etta, and Trey Pierce. We'll see what we get of Ike and Wanya in this season. But I think 5 guys in the interior for those 2 spots can make a difference, will make a difference, will get plenty of snaps. So I like the depth. You got a 5th-year, 6-year transfer coming from Clemson, coming from Alabama, some upcoming Michigan players that have been in the program for a couple of years. I'm going to stick with these 4 guys as my starters. And it's because of the emergence of the transfers, the comeuppance of a couple of the guys that have been there for a while, like Trey Pierce, like Eno Etta, that I don't think Michigan's going to lose games because of the defensive line. I don't think it's the D-line that's going to win them games as much as they did last year against Ohio State, against USC, against others. But I like this defensive line. I think this is a top 5 defensive line in all of college football. Not ready to say they're going to be better than last year's defensive line, but I think they could be still the best or second best in the Big Ten and a top 5 D-line across college football. Guys, we asked for 50 subscribers, 49 subscribers yesterday's video. As we're filming this mid to late afternoon here on Thursday, only got 15 subscribers, so wasn't really well received, but appreciate those of you who did subscribe. So if you can help us out, we got to keep the subscribers going as we're getting close to the Michigan football season, that summer lull. Share that link with a friend. It's down in the comments in the description, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Tell your friends to subscribe to the Michigan Football Report. I don't think there's going to be any drop-off in the back 7, right? When you lose Will Johnson, who, fell to the second round, some injury concerns. A lot of people, Ohio State, Michigan State fans, egg on their face, Will Johnson's an apology for claiming he was, dogging it when clearly there was some serious injury concerns going on there. But you had Keon Saab, or not Keon, I keep saying Keon Saab, and I have done that all last year. Zeke Berry, I always confuse him with Keon. But Berry moved over from nickel to cornerback. I love the linebackers coming back. I think this is going to be one of the better linebacker groups that Michigan's had in a long time. You got 2 returning starters in Barham and Ernest Hausman, a multiple-year starter. Both those guys transfer Maryland, Nebraska. Jimmy Roller, Hood in the backing them up. But the secondary is going to be pretty damn good. Okay, Jair Hill and Zeke Berry, those were your starting cornerbacks for the second half of last season after Will Johnson went out. TJ Metcalf, coming over from Arkansas, starter last year at safety, and I love Brandon Hillman. He was one of the stars of spring practice. Rod Moore is returning. We haven't seen him yet. Injured all last year, didn't participate in the spring, but you're expecting him to come back and start at one of those safety positions. How would it all shake out? I think it's going to be Metcalf, Hillman, and, of course, Rod Moore. Now, TJ Metcalf, he played great. He looked good in the spring. He looked the part. He looked, svelte and muscular and fast and athletic. And I thought he played awesome. I think he's going to be an awesome player for this Michigan team. True junior, 2 years left potentially to play for this team unless he balls out and goes to the NFL early. And there's another player that we have kind of ignored as a fan base, as a program, that I'm going to tell you about next. But I did want to ask you guys this question. Saw Jack put it on some of our social medias a few days ago. Better Michigan football team. The 2016 team that lost to Ohio State on the outrageous JT was short called. Started 9-0, I think got to number 2 in the country, played the 2-3 Ohio State game in Columbus, and then ended up 10-3 because they lost the Iowa game a couple weeks prior to that, lost to Ohio State, and then lost the bowl game to Florida State. Or the 2021 team that lost to Michigan State when they were up 16 points in the second half and then ultimately got crushed by Georgia in the college football playoff semifinals. Which team would play if they played in a time machine and faced off together? Give me a comment. I kind of lean towards 2016, honestly, to be frank. I think there's a lot more talent on that team, although a lot of that 2021 guys became talented in the years prior, but I still probably go 2016 might be one of the greatest, most talented Michigan football teams up until this 2022-2023 team that we had seen in 10 or 15 years. Let me know 21 or 2016. How about Tevis Metcalf? Right, 3-star, didn't play a ton at Arkansas, as a true freshman, but he looked just as good as his brother, and people are saying he's going to get a lot of snaps. You might be seeing a lot. You look in that secondary, it might be Metcalf and Metcalf standing right next to each other at a nickel, at a safety, maybe even sometimes at one of those cornerback positions for one of them, just how things shake out. Tevis Metcalf, 3-star, but he had himself a heck of a spring. Really surprised people with his athleticism, and I am kind of low-key predicting that he will be in the 2 deep. Not going to start right away, probably won't even start this year, but will get a lot of playing time, much more than I would have expected, given the film and what we saw from him at Arkansas and just the overall recruiting rankings. But Tevis Metcalf, remember that name for this fall. Last thing we take away is this offensive line, this wide receiver group, which weren't great last year. The wide receiver group stunk. Offensive line got better, but kind of stunk for a lot of the season. They might still stink. And Donaven McCulley, the transfer from Indiana who had a nice 2023 season, kind of just got kicked off the team or just didn't play in 2024 after a couple games with a new coaching staff. He is the only impact guy that I was told, and from what I've talked to in this spring, of incoming freshmen and transfers. Michigan's got 2 wide receiver transfers, right? You got the UMass guy, you've got McCulley, you've got the 2 lower school, Cal Poly, and wherever the other one is, forgetting off the top of my head, the 2 highly rated, Ferris State, that's right, offensive line transfer. I don't expect either one of those guys to be in the starting lineup from day one. So of the 4 players at those 2 positions, really McCulley is the only one who is a impact addition from day one, will be in the starting lineup. So if there's anybody out there that Michigan can get to transfer portal has come and gone. It's been done for 2+ weeks now. It doesn't seem like Michigan's going to bring anybody, so they better hope somebody steps up, has himself a whale of a summer, or this season could come down to Michigan's limitations at the offensive line, which would hurt the quarterback position, which would hurt the running game, and wide receiver if Bryce Underwood doesn't have capable players to throw to. So we're going to my spring takeaways one more time. Bryce or bust. I think this freshman quarterback will be your starter. We're going to upgrade at running back. Defensive line, not going to drop off despite 2 top 15 NFL draft picks. Really loving what I'm seeing in the secondary and the linebacking group. I think this defense is a top 5 defense nationwide. No matter what, it's going to carry the program just like it did last year. And the difference between 8-5 and, 10-2, make the CFP 11-1 potentially, is going to come down, what do we get from the offensive line and the wide receiver group, the biggest 2 question marks and really underperforming units of spring practice. Reminder, follow me on Twitter, a.k.a. X, at James Yoder. Follow back 10 new followers, or 10 existing followers who retweet the pinned tweet that has the link to this video. We'll be back Friday. Till then, go blue.